Okay, so wow, the graphics in Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition are great. I wonder what the original graphics looked like.
Here we are.
Oh god, never mind. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and if it's your first time around, well, welcome. So if you've been keeping up with the channel for the past 6 months or so, you know that I've been, somewhat obsessed with the Ace Attorney series. But just like, a little bit though, don't worry about it. So yeah, I've been very obsessed with Ace Attorney lately, and I finally told myself that it's time to talk about something else. As you long-time viewers may know, I just recently finished reviewing the original Ace Attorney trilogy, aka the first 3 games in the series. I was originally planning to follow that up with a review of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which came out on Switch just last year, and I even wrote most of the script for it. But after looking at my channel and realizing that it was like 90% Ace Attorney content, I realized that maybe I should just put future videos of that series on hold. So instead, I'll be reviewing a game that I just recently finished playing, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. And by the way, trust me, this video is not just me sifting through my game collection and trying to find a game to review. This game is like quite possibly the best game I've ever played. And that isn't an exaggeration, by the way. Sure, there are a lot of other games out there that I would definitely consider taking that position, but I can confidently say that this game is definitely up there. And hell, I can even say with certainty that this game beats other 10 out of 10 games I've even played. I mean, hey, I made a 36-minute video explaining why Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations is amazing, but if I'm being honest, I'll take this JRPG classic over the essential gay lawyer game any day. Anyways, this intro has dragged on for long enough, so let's get into the review. So without further ado, here we go. Oh, and by the way, the version of the game I played, just in case it wasn't specified enough, is the Switch Definitive Edition. And that's the version I'll use footage from, so you don't have to look at... that.
The kernel's gonna explode. Crap!
Okay, so let me start out by talking about my kind of weird background with the Xenoblade series. I wanted to start out with the first one, but this version of it wasn't out at the time. At the time, I still had my 3DS and Wii U, so there was the option of getting the 3D version for the 3DS, or accessing the game through the Wii U's backwards compatibility, aka the only thing that people actually used it for. Unfortunately, Nintendo locked Xenoblade Chronicles 3D behind a new 3DS paywall, and the original Wii version of the game was like $300 and looked like this. Luckily though, I was able to get the second game for the Switch, which luckily isn't a direct sequel, so I could just jump right in. Anyways, I played it for like a long time, and then I got stuck and haven't touched it since. But the good news is that the Big N finally decided to remaster XC1 for the Switch, and now here we are. So in summary, I played the second game first, stopped playing it mid-game, and then got the first game and beat it, which is how normal people play video game series, right?
No.
Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one, follows Shulk, a boy living in Colony 9 alongside his friends Ryan and Fiora. Wait, that's weird. For some reason I can't shake the odd feeling that I left something out of that explanation. Oh yeah, they don't live on Earth, which kind of explains the whole almost having human names but not quite thing that you'll notice is a pretty big trend within this entire game.
Ryan!
So yeah, the game takes place in the future where Earth exploded, and all beings instead live on Bionis and Mechonis, 2 titans who were locked in a war until frozen in time. After being frozen, life began to live on the 2 titans, with Homs, living on Bionis, and Mechons, who are basically mechanized robot people, living on Mechonis. There are also some other types of life forms that exist, but we'll get to those later. The point is that these two inhabitants coexisted and lived in peace. Nah, just kidding. They just started a war and began killing the fuck out of each other. So yeah, much like in real life, the Titan inhabitants decide that the only way to solve problems was through senseless violence. Anyways, getting back to our main cast, who live in a time period where the war is still going on, by the way, Shulk is a boy who wants to get stronger and protect his colony. He may be a bit reckless and brash at times, but mainly he's really brave and just a smart guy. Ryan is a boy who pretty much shares the same goal as him, with the only differences being that Shulk is also interested in crafting weapons and that Ryan is kinda stupid.
I know, man.
So yeah, you can kinda think of him as Shulk's more reckless and funny himbo counterpart. Anyways, Fiora, our final main character, is caring, smart, and pretty much just an all-around good person. She's also the not-so-secret love interest of Shulk, depending on who you ask, I guess, always making lunches for him and talking with him every day. Her older brother, Dunban, was one of the most notable fighters in the ongoing war due to his ability to wield the legendary sword called the Monado. However, he is currently bedridden and being taken care of by Fiora due to having severe can't-join-the-party-yet-itis from the war. One day, the Mechon unexpectedly invade the Bionis due to the Mechonis and Bionis conveniently getting Dio time-stopped just as the Mechonis' sword hit the Bionis, forming a nice bridge for the two life forms to kill each other on. Colony 9's resistance to this invasion proves futile, and it is said that the only weapon that's able to harm the Mechon is the Monado, Dunban's special sword, which he currently can't fight with due to his current hospitalization. Oh, and by the way, not just anyone can wield the Monado, only the Chosen One can. The determination process for the Chosen Wielder is simple. If you are the Chosen One, then you'll know because you can use the sword after you pick it up. If you aren't the Chosen One, you'll know because you'll die instantly. Jumping back to the plot, our beloved main cast finds out a shocking twist. Dunban was not the chosen wielder of the Monado, and it tried to kill him, but he just kind of brushed it off. In an act of desperation, Shulk grabs the Monado and, surprise surprise, he's the chosen one. And the Monado shows him visions of the future, giving him the opportunity to predict his opponent's moves and deter them. But predicting the future isn't the only power of the Monado, so is creating the perfect segue into talking about gameplay in YouTube videos.
What do you mean?
So yeah, given how this is a JRPG and a game revolving around a war, combat is a huge part of Xenoblade Chronicles. And obviously, when fighting is a huge part of the game, you'll want it to be fun, and fun it is. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite JRPG combat systems ever. Okay, so here's how fighting works in this game. You can only have 3 people in your party at one time, and they all have different strengths and weaknesses. For example, Sharla, a character you'll meet later in the game, is good at long-range attacks, whereas characters like Shulk and Ryan are better at fighting head-on. All 3 characters fight at once, and you control one of them. The combat isn't turn-based, by the way, as you're able to freely run around during battles. The set of circles you see down here are called arts, which, to put it simply, are your attacks. They do various things, and many can do more damage if you attack from a certain area. For example, Shulk's backslash is great to use when an enemy isn't targeting you, and you're able to get behind them. If enemies aren't hostile, or they are but they haven't taken notice of you, you can initiate a battle yourself, and you can gain the upper hand if you use an effective attack on them. Not all arts deal damage though. Many arts can be used to heal party members, help stunned ones, etc. It's important to use all of these, especially later in the game when fights get harder. You don't have unlimited arts, however, as they need to recharge after you use them, preventing you from spamming certain moves. The bar up here is called the party gauge, and it can be used for 2 different things. Firstly, it can revive fallen party members. The gauge consists of 3 slots to fill, and 1 full slot can heal a party member. Of course, that means that if you die and none of the gauges are full, your other fighters have no choice but to wander around aimlessly and say a random voice line as they just don't attack at all, and the screen fades to black. The second function of the party gauge, however, is the chain attack. Essentially, it's a special group attack that can be put to great use, and aside from one other function I'll talk about later, it's one of the only times you'll be able to select attacks for your non-controlled party members. During a chain attack, time gets slowed down and you get to attack in the order of your party. You attack, then your second party member attacks, then your third. It's extremely useful because it restores all of your arts for the attack, allowing you to combo extremely effective moves. The enemy is also unable to attack you during chain attacks, so you can use the opportunity to do a huge group heal if your party members are almost dead. If the chain attack goes well, you have the opportunity to continue it. To do so, you have to press the B button at the right time, and it allows you to land another hit with your first party member. This isn't a one-time occurrence either, as you can get lucky during a chain attack and get all of your party members to land multiple hits. The more you continue the attack, however, the harder it becomes to keep it going, as the B button command gets faster every time. Successful chain attacks are probably the most rewarding things ever, as they can deal tons of damage and gain more EXP for all of your party members. Since the attack also requires all 3 slots of the party gauge, it's important to pull it off really well, because doing so can actually earn back party gauge points. And trust me, it's very important to have at least 1 full slot after a chain attack, just in case an enemy gets pissed off and decides to kill you. And I've already talked way too much about the combat system already, and there's so much more to talk about in the game, so I'll stop here, but let me just say that this is one of the most fun and satisfying combat systems in any game ever. It only gets better later on as well, as you unlock more weapons and abilities, most notably Shulk's ability to predict attacks in battle, which is really fun to use. Anyways, moving back to the story, I can't explain anything else without spoiling it, so here's how the rest of the video is going to play out. For the people that haven't played the game yet and don't want to be spoiled, I'll cover some of the non-story related aspects of the game briefly. The rest of this video after that will contain spoilers for the first 10 chapters of the game, as this review will be split into 2 parts. I'll cover the last 7 chapters of the game in a part 2 video. So once I'm finished covering the non-story stuff, I'll tell you when to stop watching. Okay, so I'm going to cover each of the following categories very briefly: the quality of the story and characters, the art, and the sound. The story, without spoilers, can only be summed up as amazing. It isn't perfect, no story is, and it definitely has some power of friendship moments, but for the most part, it's an extremely well executed story, and one that is definitely a standout in JRPG history. But of course, there can't be a good story without good characters, and Xenoblade has them. I already talked about our main 3, but the other party members that get introduced, and even the many side characters you meet, are all interesting in their own rights. This aspect of the game, however, is also slightly flawed. A small handful of characters don't really have their backstories fleshed out, and a certain party member literally just exists to be annoying and funny, even if his introduction's great. As for the art of the game, I mean, just look at it. Every single character design, except yours, is absolutely amazing.
If this is a joke, it ain't funny.
The characters are all extremely detailed, are easily recognizable, and have really cool features. It's also a major improvement over, you know.
Thanks, Ryan. That was a...
But where the game really shines is in its environmental design. If you're a Xenoblade fan, you'll know that one of the main positives of the series is the huge worlds filled with creatures, and it's easy to see why people love it here. Every single damn place you visit looks amazing, and the game is filled with huge fields and mountains, waterfalls, crazy mechanical areas, and strangely beautiful sci-fi inspired areas, each complete with intricately designed enemies to fight. And finally, the sound design's just wow. I'm not going to compare it to Xenoblade 2 yet, I'll probably do that some other time, but the music in this game is just amazing. Every single song accompanying a specific area or character or battle or cutscene is absolutely unforgettable, whether it's the day theme of Guar Plains or the nostalgic and soothing night theme, or that insane music you get to hear when you accidentally go into the range of a level 82 fucking mountain giant and die instantly, or the many other great pieces of the game. The battle themes are also huge standouts here, contrasting with the operatic and melodic separate tunes by having one of the composers absolutely just fucking shred on a guitar solo. And as for the voice acting, oh my god, it's just another category that's superior to Xenoblade 2. Okay, and that is officially it for the no spoilers section of this video. If you haven't played the game yet, please don't ruin it for yourself by watching the rest of this video, and buy the game immediately. It's one of the greatest games I've ever played, if not the greatest, and I would 100% recommend it for JRPG fans. Also, if you wouldn't mind, please leave a like and share the video with a friend before you go. You can even leave a comment asking me to cover another game, and subscribe for notifications regarding upcoming videos. Okay, spoiler start now. Picking up where we left off with the story, with the Mechon attacking and Shulk being the chosen one for the Monado, Shulk and Rein are able to get through the horde of enemies. However, they are eventually stopped when they come face to face with the Mechon with, well, a face. Funny. Shulk and Rein try attacking it, but for some reason Shulk is unable to land any hits with the Monado. Fiora eventually tries to help by pulling up with the fucking Eva, but the face Mechon kind of, kills her. Since it can't be affected by the group's attacks, the remaining Shulk and Rein and Dunban flee the scene. The next day, everyone is really sad, especially Shulk and Dunban, since Fiora was the former's crush and the latter's little sister. However, Shulk and Rein know that just sitting there and being sad won't help with anything, so they set out on a mission to defeat the faced Mechon. Well, Dunban stays behind and, takes his anti-Monado pills, I guess. Shulk and his gang, consisting of literally just one other person, later arrive at the legendary Gwar Plains, or Gower Plains, I don't remember how to pronounce it, which is better known as a stage from Smash Bros. Than, the place in Xenoblade. It is understandable why they chose this stage to put in Smash though, because it's easily one of the most memorable locations in the game. Arriving at Gwar Plains really is that moment in the game where you realize just how huge it is. It probably just sounds like I'm exaggerating, but going from the kinda cramped area of Colony 9 to an expansive and sprawling grassland filled with enemies is just mind-blowing. Anyways, while they're here, the two rescue a young boy named actually, I'll just let the game do the talking.
Juju.
He's from Colony 6, which was also overtaken by Mechon. After being rescued,
Juju
explains to us that he was trying to defend his colony and that his goal is to get revenge on the Mechon.
Anyways, who cares because his sister's hot?
So yeah,
Juju
takes us back to Colony 6, or the temporary replacement for it I guess, to meet Sharla. His older sister has been tasked with helping retake the colony and aiding its injured citizens. She explains to us that
Juju
wants to help the colony and defeat the Mechon, which I'm now realizing I already said, but is very reckless and often runs off and gets himself put in danger. And speaking of which, he runs away. Again! Seriously, man, we literally saved you like 5 minutes ago. Get a fucking grip.
Juju.
Okay, well, we'll save him in a bit, but let's talk about Sharla first. She was honestly one of my favorite characters in the game, and no, not just because she's hot. She's a sniper and healer who has the same goals as her little brother, but she's much more level-headed and cautious. However, her other reasons for fighting are to protect
Juju
and try to find Gadol, her fiancé who was kidnapped by the Mechon. However, she's not all tough and serious and enjoys talking to and joking around with Rein, and I'll talk about it later, but Rein and Sharla probably have my favorite relationship in the game, and yes, I know about Shulk and Fiora. Don't get me wrong, I love the two blonde softies, but himbo Rein and tomboyish Sharla probably have the best couple dynamic ever. Wait, what's that? Oh, right, Gadol. We can talk about him later. Anyway, Sharla joins our party and off we go to save
Juju.
And what do you know, he went and got himself kidnapped by a faced Mechon. The group tries to fight him, but the Monado can't hurt him and he can't defeat us, so everyone just decides to fight each other sometime later.
I'm so glad you're okay.
So on our way to fight Zord for the second time, and that's the faced Mechon's name by the way, we meet Atharon, Colony 6's leader, who runs ahead to try and fight Zord on his own. Shulk then reveals to the group that he's been having visions from his Monado powers of Sharla's brother and Atharon dying to Zord, so they rush off to fight him and save the two endangered victims. So after fighting Zord...
Not him again!
And fighting Zord again,
Our party saves
Juju.
and Atharon, and more importantly, grants me the right to never have to say Zord again. Sharla, thankful to us for saving her brother and her colony, and having developed a crush on Ryan, permanently joins our party. Having defeated you-know-who, our party escapes How to Make Slime No Glue No Borax Cave, which explodes and releases all of its possibly narcotic fumes. But after escaping, our group is met with another group of three-faced mechon, one of which is the one that killed Fiora. But due to the party's current weed slime fume-induced state, since they can't attack the faced mechon, it seems like all hope is lost. But luckily, thanks to perfect JRPG timing, Dunban and, I still have to introduce this guy, show up and help us by doing nothing. But thankfully, the game realizes that they just kind of brought Dunban back for no reason, and brings in a bird monster thing called a Telethia to scare off the mechon. Okay, so yeah, Dunban's friend. This fashion disaster is Dixon, which, yes, is his real name, everyone laugh. Anyways, aside from being by far the ugliest character in the game, he was also Dunban's old war buddy, alongside Mumkar, aka the dude who betrayed them in the intro cutscene that I didn't talk about for some reason. Anyways, you might be wondering why I'm being such an asshole to him, and that's because... Okay, I'm just gonna spoil it now, he's evil. In a twist we'll talk more about later, he turns out to be one of the main villains of the game. It gets foreshadowed later on in the game, and he becomes more relevant and starts acting suspicious, but I am proud to say that I suspected him before that, which may or may not have been because he's ugly.
If this is a joke, it ain't funny.
Anyways, Dunban permanently joins the party, which is good. After we go through one of the most beautiful areas of the game in a forest that I don't really remember much aside from a scene where Ryan and Sharla teased each other for smelling bad.
Brog's armpit.
We come across Melia, a bird lady who we know is going to become a main party member because Shulk has been having visions of her fighting a Telethia, but unfortunately, Melia is too busy being dead to join us, so in a completely logical move, Sharla pulls a Gabby Braun-style quickscope on Melia to bring her back to life. Oh, also, before that, Shulk runs into a hot anime boy who tells him how to use more Monado powers and shit, but we don't have to talk about it that much because he's totally not going to become super relevant later on. Anyways.
Get your hands off me!
Oh wow, they're so in love.
No.
Melia joins the party as a permanent member and casually tells Shulk about how his visions are probably about a place called Prison Island, as if she didn't just slap him like 5 seconds ago.
Off me! Off me! Off me!
She also tells us that the only way to get to Prison Island is to get arrested. Nah, just kidding, I wish that happened. What we have to do instead is worse. We have to go to Napon Village, which houses a portal that serves as the only way to get there. Unfortunately, it also houses the most insufferable fucking characters on the planet. The Napon are...
I'm here! I'm here!
Hum who? Hum who?
I'm everywhere!
whatever these things are. They're basically supposed to be cute and funny creatures because they're fluffy and talk weirdly, but they honestly just kind of end up being annoying and unfunny and feel like they're in the game for no particular reason. Apparently though, having to put up with the most cringeworthy cutscenes ever wasn't enough of a chore, because the village forces us to take a Nopon named Ricky with us as a party member. I personally found Ricky to be extremely annoying, but I found his introduction to the party pretty funny, because the village's government literally makes you take him with you, because he's in crippling debt to them. I'm not even joking. Anyways, our beloved gang of characters, and Ricky, teleport to Aerith Sea because they need permission from the people of Alchemoth, aka the kingdom that Aerith Sea leads to get to Prison Island. It's here in Alchemoth where we find out that Melia is actually one of the daughters of Alchemoth's emperor, as well as a half-human and half-high-Entia hybrid, as a result of the emperor being horny for humans. Affairs? In my Nintendo game, it's more likely than you think. Anyways, Melia is next in line to become the next Empress, but her older sisters are pissed off about it because she's not a pure-blood High-Entia. Oh, and by the way, High-Entia basically just means royalty bird people. The definitely not evil sisters go up to the Emperor and suggest that Melia should prove her worth through some sort of tomb raiding mission that totally isn't a plot to kill her. Like the sensible person he is, the Emperor wholeheartedly agrees to the plan to send his daughter to her death. Callian, Melia's older brother, who, fun fact, is the only person who actually gives a shit about her in the family, tries to argue against this plan. But the Emperor already gave the okay to it, so Callian asks our team, minus Melia of course, to help stop the plan. And that we do, and just in time too, as we arrive just as Tyrea, one of the evil sisters, tries to kill Melia. It's almost like this is a JRPG or something. So yeah, we fight her, she dies, we save Melia, the Emperor thanks us, and he asks Shulk to marry Melia. Wait, what? Luckily though, everything turns out okay, because he dies when we go to Prison Island to get attacked by Telethia. What Melia told Shulk also turns out to be true, as the giant Shulk had been seeing in his visions turns out to be the one on Prison Island. The giant is named Zanza, and he tells Shulk that he is the one who created the Monado, and that he can make it powerful if he's freed from his chains. So Zanza frees Shulk, who upgrades the Monado, and dies. So yeah, surprise surprise, the faced Mechon is back, but with another Mechon in tow this time. They shoot a spear at Zanza and kill him, and we try to fight back but are majorly unsuccessful. However, the strange new Mechon's frontal armor is cut off, revealing a person inside, but not just any person, it's Fiora. She doesn't seem to remember anything though, and the Mechon flee before anything else can happen. Shulk and the gang, of course, follow the trail of the two Mechon and eventually come face to face with the Mechon with a face. Again, face. But this time, the faced Mechon reveals his true identity. Mumkar, Dumban's former friend who turned traitor and sided with the Mechon. The gang tries to fight him, but their efforts prove fruitless as a mysterious golden-faced Mechon arrives. The golden Mechon introduces himself as Egil, the leader of the Mechonis, and flees with Mumkar and Fiora back to his base. Our group runs after them, with Shulk yelling after Egil and telling him that they will defeat him and get Fiora back.
And that was the first 10 chapters of Xenoblade Chronicles. Well, my abridged, summarized review version, at least. Like I said earlier, this is one of my favorite games ever, if not my absolute favorite. So just making one video on it would be way too long. In the next video, I'll talk about the last 7 chapters, expand my thoughts on the non-story related qualities of the game, and then not talk about the boring sequel chapter that they included in the definitive edition. Okay, fine, I'll talk about it if people want me to, but right now this video is ready to be wrapped up, so I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I worked super hard on this one. I really went for like a tonal shift with this video, and let me know if you enjoyed it. I had like a lot of new styles of jokes here. I would also really appreciate it, obviously, if you guys would consider liking, subscribing, sharing the video with a friend. And if you're planning to watch the second half of this review, subscribing might be a good idea because you'll be notified when that comes out. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Hey everyone, once again, thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot. As always, secret scene at the end. I really hope you like this one. I tried a lot of new stuff with it. Just a lot of new shit, a lot of new jokes, a lot of new video styling. So let me know what you thought below. I feel like this turned out really well, and I'm excited to make the second part, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed making it. So once again, thanks for watching. Leave a comment below telling me what you thought. Have a good day.
There is only one thing on my menu.
Dixon.